Go on.
Okay, so
Dude, we have the tiny payments legend himself, Alex
that's
Agut,
all to say.
with us. I mean, I know this is a big deal because you put on a jacket for this, or maybe you're just always a stylish guy who's,
No, I'm not that stylish. If people that know me know that I'm pretty informal, but this is
yeah,
a special occasion.
I'm a t-shirt guy and, jeans, usually a hat. But so, yeah, this is a very special occasion. So oh, look at that. That is a
It's still
good
a t-shirt.
You know what? I got to get one of those. Okay.
I'll send you one.
Note to self. All right. I love it. I'm always in for a free t-shirt. Alex is one of the founders of HandCash, and HandCash is a phenomenal wallet, like one of the best normie consumer experiences you can have in crypto, and in particular when it comes to using tiny payments. It's just like an easy, good interface, something that's easy to use, connects with a lot of apps. We're going to get into all that, but first, give me just a little bit, like, what is the mission at HandCash? What do you guys see yourselves as trying to accomplish in the world?
Well, I would like to say that, we want to help companies find new nano-payment-based business models, never possible before on the internet. And we want to unlock the potential of, horizontal nano and micropayments, which means, like users paying payments, players playing other players. Basically because, the term micropayment, not the nano payment, because it's something that, is more new. I think the term of micropayment sometimes is very, it's very characteristic of your typical payment that goes only from one way, from the user's wallet to the developers. And I think with nano payments, we can split, one payment of $1, we can split it across, a lot of users at the same time. And it creates a lot of new incentives and new kind of business models that I think are very interesting, especially because, it's unexplored territory.
Yeah. Unlocking all of the potential there. I mean, again, I think I've mentioned this certainly in maybe the first video in this series, but having that experience for the first time of taking an action with a few pennies and seeing those few pennies get instantly split between 5 or 10 people, it blows your mind. You start to get this sense of what's possible there. So your mission is essentially to bring that to the world, to bring the power of nano payments and micropayments to the world.
Yeah, we want to make it as easy and appealing as possible for companies to do it and for users.
When was your moment? When did you get excited about this and decide this is what I want to do? I want to go get a business started doing this. What was the motivation for you?
I think there were a few motivations. One was that back then in 2015 or so, we wanted to implement small payments inside an app that we had with my still current co-founder, Rafa. It was a sharing economy type of app, and it was neighbors helping neighbors with small tasks, like come and set up the TV for my grandma, or I need a haircut this Sunday, or I need someone to take care of my dog. And it was something like nearby, whatever, but the amounts were very small. So we couldn't find a good business model, because if we had to add like payment, like credit card payments and an escrow system and whatever, and licenses, it gets super expensive. And turns out that out of those $10, for example, maybe 3 or 4 just go out of the window right away. So we thought about Bitcoin because, back in the day, 2014, 2015, there was a lot of buzz around Bitcoin being able to do micropayments and all that stuff. And we tried, or at least we tried to look into the technology, but it was so complicated, we didn't even know where to start. We thought it would be impossible for our target users, like college students, some middle-aged woman that needs help with her cat or whatever. So we thought that this technology is still not ready. And then it was in 2017 we started seeing these other there was this super spike in price of BTC and Ethereum and all this shitcoins. And we thought that the price increase was due to oh, maybe someone found a way to make this technology appealing, and it's, it's starting to be something mainstream. But we saw that that was not the case. Nobody was really using it. It was just that people were investing in ICOs and stuff. So we were kind of confused, but we already had experience with small apps like a Pokemon Go radar we launched was very successful. This other app that we had, Sharing Economy, and other little apps that had a very good UX. And we thought maybe we could try to solve this issue and make this usable for companies like ours. So that's when we started, playing a little bit with Bitcoin. And I think it was, we started with the wallet and all that stuff. But once we had the wallet, we were not super ambitious with that at first, until we realized that we could create a service. We could just outsource this kind of wallet from users to developers. So developers could just connect to users' wallet and just take the money from there. And we thought that would be great, because then you get rid of all the addresses and the scanning QR codes and confirmations and all that stuff, and we can have a lot of abstraction. And one of our, I think the first iteration we had, or the first oh wow moment that we had with micropayments was with yours.org, which was from Ryan X. Charles.
I loved that site, man. I love that site.
It was great because the like system that you paid like 25 cents, I think it was, and then the first it was like an ILP model that we see right now. But it was ranked by the first people that liked that post. So the more, if it was very good content, you had an incentive to be the first one to start liking.
That's right. Yes. So that's right. Now I'm remembering. You read an article, and if you like it, and let's say you're the first one to like it, you get a percentage of all the future likes. So there's this incentive to act as a curator, to act as somebody who brings something to the forefront. That's right. And I remember seeing that and getting some of those payments, and just seeing those payments get smaller and smaller and smaller, and being like, this constant stream of an ever widening net of smaller and smaller amounts. And it was
and it solved curation, as you said, in a way that was very smart, because you cannot have a bot that has the taste to understand if this is a good or a bad article. Because if you have a bot that likes everything, most of the time you might be losing money, because you're just liking everything indiscriminately. So I think it was a very interesting business model, and we saw other examples of these kind of incentives with Twitch. And so
it's so interesting. There's so many possibilities with that curation concept, because you can have you go to medium.com or something, and it's basically they've chosen for you what they want you to see.
Exactly.
And in recent years, it's like, oh, okay, they're going to show me all this stuff that they're trying to shove down my throat a point of view, instead of just letting me find content that's interesting. But then you can have Reddit, where it's like, oh, look, everybody just upvotes and downvotes, but it's bots and fake accounts, and there's so many ways to manipulate. Super but just by introducing that cost, all of a sudden, it's not perfect, right? Any system is imperfect, but it creates so much better of a incentive system to kind of,
and also you never notice that it's costing you money. And that's the fantastic thing about nano payments, is that it's not just that you're paying, it's that as you are receiving all the time, you don't even realize if you're paying, but somehow content that's valuable ends up having a net positive of money. And I think it's very natural, and it's a way to go. We just have to make enough people experience this in enough context, a lot of blogs and podcasts and all the type of.
Well, and it's so fun too. There's something so fun. I mean, I've got my kids. I've got HandCash wallets for two of my kids, and they'll play do different stuff. The experience of playing some little game versus paying a couple pennies to play a little game, it's so different. Oh, I've got a little money in. And then if you win a little money, And it's like suddenly there's something in there, even though the amounts, as you said, like nobody cared. Nobody's losing sleep because, oh, I had to pay 2 cents to do this or whatever. I hope I earn it back. But there's something that changes in the experience. So I love your story that this is where I think every great startup is scratching an itch that the founders themselves had. So here you are, you're creating apps and you're like, I wish we had a way to do very small payments. Well, there's Bitcoin, but it's really no way we're making consumer facing apps for normal people. This is not easy. So, what if we made a wallet to make Bitcoin easy for normal people? And you sort of realized, hey, the real customer here are app developers. If we give them a couple lines of code, and I've used it with some apps that I've been working on with some people. It's beautiful. I mean, you guys have a thing where
Called It is great.
It's incredible. You put a thing in there and it's like, click, log in with HandCash, click, you're in. And now automatically all your transactions are going in and out of your HandCash wallet. The app developer never needs to build a wallet, never needs to hold anybody's funds in any way, shape, or form, never needs to worry about, they don't even need to create a login system or a user ID system if they don't want to.
Nor apply to licenses and all that, that stuff. It's
incredible. Okay, let's share the magic. Let's show. Why don't you do a screen share with us? And I would love you to walk through. And this will be, I don't know if you have mobile or desktop or what, but probably desktop. The mobile app's incredible too.
Let's see if I can.
There should be a green button that says share screen at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm sharing my Safari screen. This is I wanted to share the version that we are going to launch by next week. There might be some unexpected bug or something because it's still kind of still hasn't gone through all the review process for launch. But can you see the screen?
Yep, absolutely. Okay. So this is what a user sees. They enter their email address and phone number.
And their phone number, the phone number and the email address for security reasons is because that's one way to remove the complexity of 12 words. We are going to make it even better in the coming updates, but it is what it is right now, and it's not bad. It's kind of the default way to enter any financial type of app. So basically, you have your balance, which is right now it's BSVs or whatever, and it's and you have you know all the time what's the approximate value of your BSV at that time. These are your transactions, and you're getting transactions from all of these apps. For example, I like to play dice, or I like to enter Relica and post pictures over there. There's a lot of people tipping a lot of people through Pew Pew, which is like the most fun way to tip to do mass tippings on social media.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Pew Pew is like you just you go and you find a link. Like if you post a tweet and say, hey, everybody, put your HandCash handle in the comments. Then you just copy the link to your original tweet and you go to Pew Pew and you paste it in and you be like, I want to send $5 and split it. And there could be 100 people that all put their hand.
It can be like automatically. I think the record is like 3,000 people be paid at the same time, or 3,300 or something.
And it will automatically split it and blast it to every single one of those, so you don't have to go pay. It's just really fun. It's really neat.
And these are some transactions from Called It. People that because I won some bets, and some people then after. I'm in some kind of leaderboard, so every time that someone tries to play or whatever, I get paid.
Yeah, so look at some of those amounts. So we're talking.
Yeah, we're talking like
not really, 5 cents, not but 5.
The thing is that this looks like not much, and it's not much by one transaction. But just imagine this at scale. Right now we have like maybe hardcore users of apps, like 2,000-3,000 hardcore users of these apps. Imagine if we had 3 million or 300 million or whatever.
So Called It is a game where you just get on and you pick the winner of like an NFL game, for example. In a given week, you pick all the winners. And if you had the most correct picks, you're top of the leaderboard. And like the top 10 spots in the leaderboard, the following week's picks, if everybody pays 10 cents per pick, every time they pay 10 cents, that gets divided up among all those people. You collect some percentage of it. So you're seeing maybe Alex was on the season leaderboard or the weekly leaderboard at number 10 or something like that. And you can see when typically there's like 50, 60 people in a week on Called It on like a given sport for a given level. Now imagine if there's as many people as play something like DraftKings. Imagine if there's millions of people, right? Now you start to see the power there. Okay,
when you see this at scale, I mean, it's kind of obvious that this, people really love it, but not enough people had tried it yet. So this is
the coolest part, man. This is the coolest part.
Yeah, this is the coolest part. Basically, you can see
all the apps are here.
Yeah, all the apps that you have connected to are right here, so you can launch them just by pressing. So if you want to tap on Called It, it's launching the app, it's creating an authenticating section or whatever. Oh, in Safari, some Apple restrictions, but this is already, you are already signed with HandCash, and you are already at Isaac's site. And for example, I'm a huge fan of the NBA. And we can go, for example, like, these are tires where you can pick your, so maybe for...
Hey, you did pretty good that week.
Oh, it seems like I cannot choose.
The All-Star. Oh yeah, you can only choose the current week, I think.
Oh, yeah. Right.
There's all kind of, this is a beta. So.
Okay. No worries. Maybe, yeah, okay. I have no idea about English football, but let's say that I do. So it's 10 cents per pick. I just start picking, and it starts, confirm your 2 picks. Arsenal, Aston Villa, Liverpool. I'm going just with the names that I know. Manchester City, I think is better than, I don't know. So let's say that I want to, I want to bet on all these picks. 8 picks, pay 80 cents. I confirm. That's boom, that's paid. So when I go back to HandCash and I go to the money section, I already see the payment of 80 cents.
Okay, you got to click on that now.
And I already see all the people that have been paid because of the leaderboard.
Isn't that amazing? That immediately split it between, I think it does.
And the network fee, the network fee is like 1/10 of a cent for all these payments at the same time.
It's incredible. So every one of those people got some fraction of that 80 cents based on where they were on the leaderboard that just instantly hit them.
And unlike any other crypto, you have on BSV, we don't care about confirmations because we actually know how Bitcoin works. So
the original zero confirmation technology that lets you go. Yeah.
Without that, you cannot have micropayments. So.
Yep. And the app builders, they don't ever have to deal with any funds at all. They can just bake into that every time someone clicks this, some percentage of it goes to us. And then the users are all just paying the other users. It's peer to peer. They're not paying the app builder, and then the app builder has to hold a big reserve of money and then pay out to other people. It's all peer to peer, and they're just taking that percentage. So fun.
This is one of the most popular ones. It's called Peer Game, and it's basically like an online casino. It's super professional. I mean, this is not your like independent developer kind of app. This is a mainstream app that just happens to use Bitcoin. And are you 18 or older? Obviously, yes. So,
I don't know. You look pretty young, man.
Oh no, I think I don't look that young, but let's say you have a prediction, whatever. This is your bet, or let's double the bet, and the payment is just made, and you're waiting for. Oh, I lost, so I didn't get to win that prize, but I can play again. I don't even have to wait for confirmations.
What are you betting on right now? You're just doing dice.
I'm betting that the random number is going to be over 3,000 whatever.
Got it.
So if I go back to HandCash, I see that the payments that I made. This is the money that I made for the last one that I just won the prize, and this is what I spent. I think the coolest thing about this is that there are many places like online casinos or betting sites or whatever, where you have to make a substantial initial deposit just to get started, and this gets rid of all the friction. I can start. There was like 2 cents play.
That's what's incredible. Like so many of these games, you get on, and even if you can connect it to a payment source, they want you to top up their wallet with their in-game currency or whatever it is. I mean, I tried, somebody was telling me, oh, you can do all this stuff on the Lightning Network. There's some gambling game. And it went on there through some Lightning wallet. which first of all, the channel opening and channel closing fees were subsidized by the wallet. So that's not a long-term business model. But I jumped on and it was like, it's sort of janky little casino game. And then it's like, okay, add money to your wallet. I'm like, well, I don't know how much money I want to add to my wallet. I'm just trying this thing out. So you add money and you got to wait for it to add to your wallet. And then you play. And then you're like, okay, now pull the money off of my wallet, off of my game wallet, and put it back to my main wallet. And you got all this friction, and here everything runs right through HandCash.
Exactly, and you never have your funds locked in any, which was the current state of even Bitcoin. Like back in the day, you had 12-word keys for Note. What was the name of that? Memo that app or whatever. You had another one for I don't remember the names of those.
No, you had a 12-word seed phrase and a separate wallet for every single app that you want to use.
It was very inconvenient. And I think this gets rid of all the friction. Of course, you have different wallet providers. So maybe in the future, there's a way to improve that. But right now, I think we have to, focus on the value proposition.
Okay, so show us maybe one of the games that's like something on Haste where it's not necessarily a gambling game or like a chess. I know there's a chess game. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, there's or maybe let me show you Relica first, for example.
There you go.
Yep. Relica is basically like Instagram, but with payments everywhere. So, I have earned $36 just from my profile.
So you're an influencer now.
Yeah, I really like this more than Instagram. It's just a shame that not a lot of people use it yet because, I mean, again, we don't have the volume that Facebook type of ads have right now.
Well, I think that's one of the things that I get that makes me so bullish on HandCash is that, okay, there's all these cool apps you can build. And if they need micropayments to work and micropayments, work on something like BSV, so you can't send it to your mom and say, join Relica, because she's got to get BSV somehow, and she doesn't know how to do that. And trying to say, look, if you just set up a HandCash wallet and with your top-up function that you're rolling, where you can just top it up like a normal person without joining some exchange and doing all this crazy stuff, then you can just use all these apps, and it starts to make it much easier to compete and not be trapped inside a market only of people that happen to love BSV or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the cool thing is, well, you don't see any ads on any of these apps normally because, they're supported by their users. So that's very cool too. And, if I just happen to like this picture, I pay, boom, it's already paid 3 cents. And, it splits a part of it goes to the network and the other, and some others, like 60%. I don't know how Relica works on this regard, but goes to the poster.
Yeah, it looks like you get 2 cents when someone likes it. So 1 cent must go to Relica and 2 cents goes to you.
We have changed we are right now using this other URL, VIP HandCash for the internal testing. So I think the redirect with Haste is not working properly. Okay. I'm sorry for that, Haste guys. But there are a lot of I think DuroDocs should work.
Haste is basically like a sort of like a
same problem with DuroDocs.
It's sort of like it's like an arcade. There's a bunch of little arcade games, and they're sort of proof of concept at this phase, or at least the last time I checked, where it's like just demonstrating the power of little games where you try to like tap the thing that appeared like on your phone. You tap the dot and in a certain number of seconds, and it tells you how quickly you did it, and then you get you're on a leaderboard with everyone else, and you pay whatever, a penny to tap, and if you get on the leaderboard, then you get a percentage of everybody else's penny and vice versa.
Oh, you have like this other site that's Brightview. I think it's similar to, what's the name of that? TripAdvisor?
Okay.
It's like TripAdvisor. I write reviews on restaurants and things that I go to. And people when people find them interesting or whatever, they tip me. So, if I'm incentivized to actually write reviews about places where I go to. And so if, for example, I recommend a restaurant, maybe you don't tip me at first, but if you enjoy the experience or my review was accurate, maybe you are inclined to come back and pay me. And you have these other, Pouches is super popular right now. A lot of people are playing this. And I suck at chess, but basically you can bet you can bet some money for every time you play with someone, and when the game ends, winner takes like 80 or 90%, and the platform takes like 10%, and it's everything is, you don't have to deposit money into the platform, and it's super cool. I think this is one of the most polished apps too, and it's
so
cool.
you stake money. So basically
Yeah.
you're just committing that when the game ends,
Exactly.
that amount will automatically be paid out. You're not putting it in a escrow or something. There's no like complicated smart contract involved.
Exactly. And also you have leaderboards too. For example, with the bullet game mode, this is the ranking of top 6. So for also a part of the revenue from the platform is also shared with the best players in the platform. So that creates fidelity, and I think there's a
Nice.
lot of
So you
incentives there.
stake, let's say we stake $2 and we're going to play a game and you win. So you get 60 cents, or whatever, 70 cents, the platform gets 20 cents, and the other 10 cents gets split among people who have the most wins on the platform. So it gives them a reason to keep coming back and get rewarded. I mean, it's just so cool. The number of things you can do, the number of ways that people talk so much in startups now about building community and ecosystems and viral loops and ways to reward your customers and your most loyal customers and getting your NPS score up and then and there's all these complicated ways to try to do it, to try to run referral programs where you try to track how many emails people do and then you send them a t-shirt or whatever. And the beauty of all this stuff with micropayments and nano payments is you can bake it all right in. Hey, you've played this more than anybody else. You're automatically on a leaderboard and automatically you're just collecting money from times. So then you're naturally incentivized. We don't have to create a program called referrals and affiliates. You're automatically incentivized to go get more friends to play because you're on the leaderboard, and the more people play, the more money you get. It's so brilliant how everybody's incentives get aligned so instantaneously.
Yeah, and also the instant factor is I think it's the main factor here, because imagine a YouTube creator. They see that they have some money that's pending to be paid into their bank accounts. They are accumulating this money or whatever, but they have to just log into YouTube creator's site, whatever, see how much they are owed, and it will take like 4 or 5 days to reach their bank account. What we're talking is that you might be posting a very cool thing on social media or be very good on a game or whatever, and be paid by hundreds of people instantly, and you see the notifications live, and the dopamine rush. I mean, it's incredible with users.
Oh, it's amazing. I've noticed YouTube, and I don't know exactly how it works, but they're kind of trying to figure out. They have like when you do a live thing and you have the chat, they have things where like people can like give you money in the chat, like $5 or whatever. And they're trying to get there, but without having true nano or micro payments, it's so limiting. You can send me $5, but what if every time you want to be a part of the live chat, every time you post something, it costs you 10 cents. Now it's going to weed out the riffraff, or it costs whatever the creator wants to set as the price to post a comment. And YouTube takes a cut, and the creator can split the cut between, like, just the power of that technology. Okay, sorry. Can you go back and show us Haste again? Because it looked way different than when I last checked it out.
This is our app gallery where users can check all the available apps that you can connect with HandCash. And for example, we have Haste over here, and you have some screenshots. So basically, you have all kinds of games inside of Haste. So it's a full a platform for gaming. So basically, you can see how much it costs or how much you can bet inside those games, and well, you can just see the leaderboards, screenshots, and it's a very cool platform that you can just connect your HandCash wallet and start making money by playing your favorite games, and it's very cool. It's very cool. They already have like 6 or 7 games, and it's growing constantly, and it's going to be a very cool platform. And there are like duros. This is one of the coolest things that we have right now. People are really loving this. Basically, it's like I don't know if you guys remember Tamagotchis, but
I remember. I never had one, but I remember. I don't have real pets, so I don't want. Why do I want?
Oh,
I mean, I got chickens, but
Yeah, so basically you get this virtual pet that's unique because it's, by using blockchain technology and NFTs, you can make sure that there's real scarcity and that your pet is unique. And you can get, yeah, like very unique outfits for it, and you can feed it, you can make it do activities and earn energy, and it can dig treasures from the ground. And it's very fun. And again, this is something that's using payments all the time, but people don't even realize it. And it's and it's
if I'm understanding it correctly, your pets are, each pet is like uniquely created, and then you have items. Are those items, can you sell those? Is there like a market for those? Okay, got
it. They started with a beta marketplace that runs on Discord, but they are going to have their own website for.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like if my kids bug me to get a dog, I'll be like, look, get a Duro dog, and once you've earned like $200 from making your Duro dog, taking care of it, and I don't know what you do with them, letting people pet it or something. I don't know, whatever. Show me you're responsible. You in the app gallery, you were just looking at another one that I wanted to mention that's in there is Hona. And it's a really cool concept. I've actually played around with it before for a 30-day blogging challenge, where you kind of can create challenges for yourself. Say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to commit to do this, and then you can stake money. Say, I only get this money back at the end of 30 days if I have posted an update and posted something that proves that I've done it every day.
Yeah.
You can ask, or you can join a pre-existing challenge. So we created a 30-day blog post challenge. Everyone that joined the group, they had to post a link to a blog that they published every day for 30 days. And then we supplied the prize pool for them in that case. But it's really cool. It's sort of like a group social accountability thing, but it lets you immediately tie in the financial component to it with any amount. It could be pennies,
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I mean, we have all kinds of apps, as you can see. I mean, games. You have these kind of productivity apps. You also have things like Tonic Pow or Genuine Retweets. Genuine Retweets is one of the the most popular ones too. Basically, it rewards people retweeting your posts on social media, and it's kind of it has systems to avoid having bots or whatever. So it's very cool because you are actually rewarding real people that are actually retweeting things without even realizing that they might be making money by doing so, and it's very cool. And you have things like, I don't know, BSV 2048 is another game. It's super cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Sudoku sort of type of game.
Yeah. I really suck at those kind of games.
Yeah, I know. I'll try those, and I'm just like, why am I doing this? I'm gonna go broke half a penny at a time if I keep this up.
Yeah, and TDXP is maybe the coolest crypto or the coolest trading platform out there, because again, you don't have to deposit money into their platform. So if you want to just bet like Tesla is going to go up by 5% in the next 5 days, you open a bet of maybe 10 cents or 20 cents. Just it's like advanced paper trading, which is a little bit more interesting because you have any kind of money amounts, but also if you're a stud, you can bet like.
I mean, there's so many cool things about it, and I'm not the sort of trading speculation component is not my main focus, and certainly not for this. But this ties in the micropayments component. It does a couple cool things. So one, like you said, you don't have to deposit any money on there. You're doing it straight out of your HandCash wallet. Two, you can do any amount, like you said. You can do literally micro investing. But three, what happens when this happens is you get this really cool information market that emerges. If you can start to see, oh, there's a whole ton of people that are willing to bet 5 cents on the following thing. And because it's so broad, the types of things you can do, it's so flexible, and the amounts, it's not just like you're only looking at the books of a couple large investment houses that are moving the market. It's more like you can get really granular. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Scroll down real quick. There was one or two others that let's see here. Okay. Oh yeah. PayPal. So let's say you're winning a bunch of money and you got $200 on your HandCash, and you're like, well, I want to do something with this, and I don't have to go to exchange and sell it.
Yeah. You can buy gift cards with your Bitcoin right away. And for the most popular brands like Starbucks, Apple, Nintendo, wherever, I wanted to. The thing is that I couldn't because these cards were only for the US, but I wanted to top up my Nintendo account with this. I mean, if I were in the US, it would have been possible, and it's super cool. And lots of people really like this service. It's a way to cash out. Maybe the money you're making by posting pictures on Relica.
Yeah.
Like $36 per year, whatever. That's basically what you pay for a Nintendo Online subscription.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah. So like
so
my kids, like my daughter, she got on, called it, and like the first week, she got like number one. So she won like 12 or 15 bucks, and she's like, "Oh, this is cool." And there's some other apps she likes to play, but she's like, "Okay, what do I do with this money now?" And she's 9 years old, so she's not going to go get an account on like Kraken or something, and then go like exchange her money for Tether or some crazy like But the ability to say, okay, let's go get a gift card to Amazon or to something that you like, and then you've got it. That's real. Yeah. That's money that you can take with you, not just within this ecosystem, which is awesome. You can play all these things here, but you can actually connect it to things you want to purchase in the broader world.
And also in the real world, I know that there are some videos from the creators, which are Derek and Steven. Which, I really love those guys, and they're awesome people. They have some videos where they just paid with HandCash for a gift card for Burger King or whatever, and they use that gift card with a QR code, whatever, at the counter for paying for their order, and it took like 20 seconds tops, all the process. And I think it's something really, really cool that you can do all sorts of things with the technology. This Space Hunter game. This was the winner of one of the, it was second place for one of the hackathons that we organized. Basically, the typical Arcano.
Classic old arcade game.
It's not Arcano. What's the name of Space Invaders?
Space Invaders.
Like
yeah.
But it's hard as fuck. And but the cool thing is that, again, this has an ILP model. So basically, if you're very good at this game, people playing afterwards will reward you every time they play.
When you've said ILP a few times, for those who don't know, that means instant leaderboard payout.
Leaderboard payout, yeah.
Got it.
So basically means that if you are very good at a game, you enter a leaderboard. Maybe you are entering the top 10, top 20, whatever. And people that are playing following games will reward you for being in the leaderboard.
I like to tell it, like, if you're old people and you remember the days of the arcade, or for me it was, we would go to the roller world, and they had a couple arcade games, and we would stand there after we got bored, rollerblading, whatever. And every time you put in a quarter, you're playing that game, and you're standing there with your buddies, and you're hoping your buddy makes the leaderboard. They got this leaderboard, and it's like these legends who have played it. Imagine if you're sitting on that leaderboard, every single time somebody comes in and puts a quarter in that game, you get 5 of those cents until you're no longer on the leaderboard. Like all that stuff. It's just such a fun, it's such a fun
until
idea.
Someone dethrones you.
Yeah.
So if you're very good at it, you're probably even making money for playing your favorite game. So that's very cool.
So I want to ask you about, I've noticed in some of these games, instead of a BSV symbol or a US dollar symbol, there's been this little D, the little duro symbol. Explain for people who are unfamiliar with this, what that's all
about. So basically, this is a concept that we came up with like 2 years ago, and we launched 1 year ago. It's still very experimental, and we are gathering feedback, and we're seeing, if it solves all the issues that we wanted to solve with it. But basically, the idea was that the same way that you imagine that if you play any kind of game right now that has virtual currencies, like you have, I think there are diamonds on Candy Crush, you have virtual currencies or VC points or whatever on NBA 2K. You have these gold coins on Pokemon Go, whatever. Imagine if you could, with this technology, create one virtual currency that's compatible with all apps and games. So basically what, in theory, they should create kind of a pricing system on digital items and digital goods instead of being pegged to fiat. So it's very hard to pull off this kind of concept, especially with a small ecosystem like we have right now. But I think it's an interesting idea, and I think we saw a successful version of this in the book of Ready Player One. They have these Oasis coins or Oasis money or whatever, credits. I think it was credits. So basically, the real world money became so unreliable, bad, inflation, whatever, that people already were used to having this virtual currency because they were playing games or whatever, and it just became the default currency that people used everywhere. So we thought, hey, maybe we can replicate something like that. I think it's still, experimental. We gave it a go. For some context like video games, it works great in haste or in chess or whatever. But it still it takes time to actually pull off some of these things.
It's interesting because I imagine something or some things like this will emerge over time, just if for no other reason than that if there are apps that are using truly nano payments, hundreds of pennies, thousands of, that gets really hard for your brain to figure out what you're doing when you're looking at all these decimal points. But if you're like, oh, this is this in-game currency, this is duros, and my brain knows if I'm spending 100 duros on this, I know that equals this in this other game. That means I could play chess twice, or it means I could do
the
this.
idea is that over time, it's like when you played NBA 2K, you don't really you don't have a fiat equivalent, or in Pokemon Go you don't have a fiat equivalent. You understand that, okay, I'm trying to buy this Shaquille O'Neal Legends edition whatever card, okay, and it's 2000 VCs, and I immediately understand because of the concept that is a great deal. But at the other side, if I see a Jimmy Butler card for 8,000, I think that may be a little bit expensive. So it's not pegged to fiat; it's pegged to the gaming
the opportunity cost of that expenditure is all relative to the game world, and to say, if we could take that across multiple games and have it detached from the dollar so that it's a unit that makes more sense for these tiny payments. And have it detached from, because BSV has a similar problem. If you're using tons of decimals, or BSV, it's people's brains see a cryptocurrency and they think of it like a cryptocurrency, and it has sort of different connotations. So the attempt to say, we want your brain to think gaming token here, and how many games can I play with each unit of this token, and what's the value? It is a very interesting concept, and I feel like whether or not, because I've seen HandCash users who just love duros and are like, put it in duro mode, it's all about the duros, and others like myself, I'm like, I'll just use BSV or dollars, I don't care. I think whether or not duros succeeds, there's some insight you have that's correct, that as this ecosystem explodes, something that doesn't require so many decimal points will be utilized. You know what I mean?
I think you see a lot of people use it because, it's very easy to say 5 duros, 100 duros, 25 duros. If you understand that, a game on haste, costs you, every time you play, it's 5 duros, or in Durodogs, 100 duros is a color or whatever. If you have this kind of pricing system in all apps and you have the developer support and all that stuff, it should over time create this kind of intuitive knowledge or perception that, 20 duros for a like, that's expensive. I am paying 10 duros for a like in this other platform or whatever. Or, I think it's a very good concept and a very interesting concept, and it works great in some concepts. But imagine if Apple said, like, starting tomorrow, all apps have to adopt this Duro thing, because this is the best thing ever. We have a huge presentation. You have like 1 billion people watching, and all of them buy into the concept. And starting tomorrow, everybody, developers and everybody starts using it. The problem is when you are a very small in a very small network, you don't have a huge amount of apps or users or whatever. It's difficult to pull off. I think it's a great concept. I don't know if it's the right timing, or maybe we should just give it a go for a while more. But I think there's something to the idea.
This is the beauty and the pain of early stage startups. I mean, because you're asking your users to do a couple new things already. And so every new thing you ask them to do adds to a little bit of that friction. So it's like, okay, first I want you to think differently about apps and wallets and payments. Everything's instant and whatever. Okay, now I also want you to think different about pricing things in a different unit of currency. It can be a challenge. But what is cool about it, just to make clear to those listening, this is not a token. HandCash didn't create duros as it. This is not a token with some unknown supply or some in-game currency. It's literally just a different way of accounting for BSV. Or because BSV always has a USD price.
It basically replaces this 0.000005 BSV. So
it's just renaming. It's renaming an existing unit of account. It's not you're not buying a new token or anything. You literally just how you view, if you want to view in BSV or USD or duros as the sort of unit of account.
So this was basically like 40 duros in duro mode, and here is like 0.00200000 BSV. So in theory, it's more readable. The thing is that you need the prices, things to be priced in these units.
I pretty much always have it in US dollar, like showing the dollar first. So like if you click on dollars, that will come up at the, that's like what I watched, right? I'm like, I don't know.
Now,
duros, BSV.
We're not forcing on anybody. We are making it still, optional, experimental. We see how it goes. And again, we are trying to be fiat first for most of the things. For the balance, especially, we do want people to understand that the balance that they are that they have currently, it's on BSV, because otherwise there's confusion about, but the big balance, because people associate the big one with the main one.
The main one.
So we didn't want to display like 8 decimals for BSV, but we said, if we have the fiat equivalent in smaller,
goes up and down,
but we have a big number in BSV that is with 3 significant digits, for example, it looks nicer. It's not lying to you, and you still know your balance at the first glance. This is an iteration of coming from a lot of feedback from all these years. I think as long as we use raw BSV this way, it's better to have it like this.
So right now, anybody can go to handcash.io, set up a wallet, they can go to the App Store and download it. But this new, what we're seeing on vip.handcash.io here, this is sort of coming out in the next, hopefully, weekish, right?
Yeah, around Wednesday, Thursday next week. Yeah.
Okay.
And also the new the app will be updated. The mobile app, it will be updated to 4.0.
So tell me two final questions for you. One is, what's the future you envision? Say 5 years down the road, describe the world you want to see. And then 2, what do you see as the biggest constraints to getting to that vision?
I would say that I think there are a lot of business models that have been adopted by default because there was no other option, such as, for example, let's say subscriptions. There are and people have a lot of subscriptions right now, and maybe the average person, I think it has like 6-7 subscriptions per monthly subscriptions. And
if you're a business, you have like 50 or 60.
yeah well, but I mean the average person, it's very difficult for them. If you want to just read one article from the New York Times, for example, maybe you don't want to subscribe. You don't know if you are if you are going to consume all the articles, or maybe you're not interested in even entering their platform first. You just want to go to that article because you learned about the existence of that article through social media. It's not that you entered the New York Times site. So I think the distribution model for information has changed a lot with social media and other platforms and things like Linktree or whatever. I think they have changed the way you access information. Also, people don't search as much as they used to do in the past. And those are trends that I think have modified the kind of business models that are interesting for developers, because right now it's not enough to have clickbait, or it's not enough just to have good SEO because people don't search as much anymore, or you cannot rely on a subscription model for the New York Times because people, especially younger generations, they're not used to having this, like maybe your father was, he was a reader of one or two particular newspapers back in the day, but our generation is not like that. It's like, I want this information now, and who gives it first, and I just click the link, and it's different. So I think it's leaving money on the table for all these companies when you enter a premium article or whatever, and you cannot read it because it says, hey, subscribe to the New York Times, and it's like, fuck you. I don't want to pay you for a whole year for the New York Times, then forget and pay for another year or whatever, when I just want to read one article. Just let me pay 20 cents or 50 cents or 5 cents or whatever, read the article, and that's not money that you're leaving on the table. Because otherwise, I mean, if it's a premium article and I cannot pay for it by just watching ads or something on the, by the side of the screen, there is leaving money on the table. And also we are seeing the trend from of especially in games. My concept of video games is really different from the concept of why my little sister plays. She's 20 years old. My little sister plays games for different reasons than I did. I played games because the reviews on the magazines were great. Like, you have to play this game, is the best game of the year, whatever. And we were looking for quality, or for how many hours can I play the story, whatever. Right now, games are very social, and it's not that they're social; it's that people play because of the social factor. If you don't have these networks and tournaments, and you don't make it interesting on Twitch, and you don't have a conversation, and you don't have drama, and you don't have prices, and you don't have skins, or you can sell items, or it's very money driven right now, the gaming industry. And I think removing all the friction from legacy payment providers is great for for gaming companies, and they know it. But I think we still need to improve a lot our tools and our business models to make them appealing enough for them.
Yeah, I'm imagining the experience that users have on the apps that are connected to HandCash currently. That one-click instant experience. You click like, and 3 cents are instantly paid, or you click an activity. Things just happen with a click. There's no need to enter an email address or enter payment information. I'm imagining bringing that to the entire internet. Like, imagine you go to my website and it says, subscribe to my newsletter. And you just literally click subscribe. And let's say I charge you $5 to be an email subscriber, and I'm going to email you whenever. You don't even have to put in your email address. You click subscribe because it already has an account information associated with your wallet. You're just bouncing around the web. Join our exclusive developer Slack group. It's $20. Click, I'm in, right? Or whatever. Copy this link and share it with your friends, and you'll get 5 cents every time they click it. Copy, share. The money's coming in automatically because it's associated with your wallet. And you kind of take this payment and wallet identity, just like you do with single sign-in with Google or sign in with Facebook or whatever. But this is also your wallet and your payments. It's all in one place. Like, the number of things you could do with this.
It's an infinite amount. It's an infinite amount. And it's very cool to see, new business models emerge because of, by just giving them new tools that make possible things that have never been possible before. There are obviously some challenges moving forward. I think it has been.
What are those? What are the big hurdles?
I think it's been difficult for us to separate the notion of crypto from speculation. And even though these games have some speculative or games or apps or whatever have, you are maybe betting some money because you want something in return. Okay. But I'm talking about people associating crypto with buying some asset and holding to it in expectations of making money in the next months or years or whatever. And I think it's been very hard for us to still say that we are a crypto company, and people have the perception that I should use this for payments, especially with developers or companies. When they hear about crypto, whatever, the first thing that comes to mind with them is is, not just fluctuations, but also that's super expensive, unreliable. It can go, it can go south anytime for regulatory things. They don't trust that it's a public network because especially the consulting companies have done a great job by brainwashing them into, they are selling them good old databases and telling them that they are private blockchains. So it's kind of hard to actually explain the whole situation to them. But I think if we go to the total abstraction, like making it like, this is a company like PayPal or Stripe or whatever, but you don't even have to mention that. I think we need the total abstraction to attract companies like EA Sports or whatever. And also those companies want to have, it's a challenge because they want, when you talk to them, especially big companies, they want to have a lot of control over the infrastructure. And if you're still not PayPal or PayPal, big as PayPal, it's going to take a while until you find your PayPal moment where, you are an essential tool of a very popular page or game or whatever, and then you explode from there. So I think there's going to be a tipping point where it's just obvious that nano payments are the future of the internet. And I think, all these 30-day trials or subscriptions or whatever, I think they're going to get obsolete. And I think we are going to see a lot of in-app payments that are just a fractions of a cent.
I love it. I love it. Alex, this has been a blast. Even though I have used most of these apps myself, I still get so excited watching you walk through and show us. For those of you who are listening instead of watching, you can go find it on YouTube as well. And you can go to HandCash and get your own wallet to be able to kind of experience the magic. And heck, if you want to tweet out, tag me in it or something and say, okay, I downloaded HandCash. I'll send you some BSV, so you got something to work with. Yeah, we'll send you some duros, and then you can go play a couple games.
And if you are a developer and you're interested, we have our SDK. It's free to use, and you can start right away. It's in handcash.dev, and it's very easy to use. And you can add nano payments inside of any app or a game. You don't have to build it from scratch. I mean, it's in JavaScript. You can run it on your server, whatever. It's just a few lines of code that you can start having nano payments integrated into any kind of app or game.
I love it. And Alex is on Twitter as well. He's one of the very few people who shares with me an enjoyment of like Bitcoin, crypto stuff, and the NBA. Most of these crypto nerds don't know anything. They call it sports ball. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that, Alex.
No, I appreciate that too. Maybe we should have maybe we should make a podcast talking about the NBA or something someday.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. You might be able to hook me on that. Hey man, this is great.
Okay.
We'll catch up again.
Okay. Thank you.